just getting everything set up here. Promise I'm just not looking at my phone. I gotta make a post here. Boom. Okay. Let me pin this. All right. We should be live. Here's my guitar. Good midnight from Romania. Got people from all over the place here. That's cool. That's fun. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon for me. So I'm going to live stream. And then after I'm done, I got to pack all my stuff up and I have a gig tonight. So, yeah. Good Friday night. So I'm going to pull this up here on screen. Just a second. I might let a few more people jump in before I do this. So I think it was like 7 or 8 months ago I put out a video on the channel that was basically a bunch of these. Hey Robert, how's it going? A bunch of these small pieces that I've written over the years for the channel or Instagram or whatever, and there's quite a few of them. There's something like 20 of them or whatever, 25 maybe, or 19, I don't remember exactly. But basically I was like, hey, listen to these, see which ones you'd want me to turn into a full song. And the most requested one was, I think, number 6 on that video, but it's this kind of metric modulation thing. So I'm going to pull this up on screen here. This is the piece here. So this is the one where it's like 15/16, and then it does like a metric modulation to 19/16. So we'll listen to the minute-long piece that I've already written, and then I'll kind of talk about some of the things I'm thinking about doing to this to turn it into a full song. Should be interesting experiment. I actually have a bunch of stuff in my head and I've jotted a few things down. I haven't actually written anything because I wanted to do that here. But this might be an interesting process. We'll see if I can be creative on the fly with people watching. Anyway, so this is the piece. This is the little thing I'm going to try to turn into a full song. So that's the little piece I'm going to try to turn into a song. Right now it's like a minute long, but there's some really cool things inside of that. I particularly like the rhythm. Obviously, the sort of metric modulation thing is cool, and I want to try to expand upon that in a full song, see if I can do that in a way that makes sense musically. I also want to maybe do some other metric modulation things too. So I'll try to explain what's happening with the metric modulation, but it's basically getting faster, but also in my head I'm hearing a version where it can get slower too, where the numbers can decrease for certain sections. So I think that would be cool to experiment with. I also originally wrote this to talk about a chord progression, I wrote this little piece, you know, I don't know, almost 4 years ago now at this point, maybe even longer, at the beginning of the channel. And I wrote this specifically to talk about the chord progression that goes like minor chord, and then a major chord, a half step down. So like in this case, it's A minor, minor 11, that kind of thing, to A flat major 7, or A flat major 7 sharp 11. Let me get a tone that has less distortion for playing chords. Obviously, as I'm going through this, let me know if you have questions. I'm kind of just going to see what I can do with this. So that was the main like chord progression happening. Later, I kind of modulated up in the faster section. So I have a chord progression, I have a rhythm, and there's a little melody happening here too. What you're seeing here is the guitar pro of when I originally wrote this. Where's the melody? Just super simple. Yeah, so the A flat major 7 sharp 11, that would be like Lydian. But the first chord is A minor, so it's really kind of modal mixture in some ways. So you're playing like A minor, basically like A natural minor. And then A flat Lydian. Right, those sort of combinations. It's a cool chord progression. It's actually fairly cliche in this kind of music, so I'm gonna try to do some more interesting things with it as I kind of get into it. So let me pull up this here. These are some random ideas I jotted down, and I haven't actually, you know, picked up my guitar and tried to write anything, but I just have like some random ideas that popped into my head when I was taking a shower or just in my car or whatever. They kind of popped into my brain. And this is actually a lot of times how I'll write, is just kind of like away from my guitar, just thinking about things like, okay, maybe this part could go into this part, or maybe I'll use this rhythm, you know, this could be cool to have this thing here or whatever. Maybe I'll get heavy here, that kind of stuff. So I'll think about it, like actually think about it just in my head, and then maybe jot down some ideas. So let's see what I have here. Chord hits, intro, maybe chromatic bass movement. So I'm thinking of some sort of big intro. Like I like this part that I've written already. I'm going to use it at some point, but I want to try to add some other stuff to it. If anyone's just jumping in, I'm adding on to a song I did a while back, or it's not a full song. It's like a minute long little piece. It's the one where I do the metric modulation from 15 to 19. You can look it up on the channel. I'll pull it up here later and play it again for people who missed it when I played it at the beginning. But I'm trying to turn this into a full song. Do I write songs with other people? I have written songs with other people a lot in the past. A lot of bands I've been in have been collaborative, whether it's sometimes all in a room together, which is cool. I've also written like just two people, like in A Sense of Gravity, me and the other guitarist Brendan wrote a lot of the songs together. Or like I'd bring in an idea or he'd bring an idea and we kind of work back and forth. I feel like I do most of my writing now by myself just because I'm by myself all the time. And I'm not really in like a band that's currently writing at the moment. So I like doing both though. I love writing with other people because the ideas they'll bring would be very different from what I would bring, and then you can kind of feed off each other and you get some unusual things. But yeah, so I'll do both. It kind of depends on the situation. Let's see, super proggy riff. I have an idea for that too, like a classic prog metal sort of thing somewhere. Here's this kind of rhythmic idea, maybe a chorus, and that's where I'll take this rhythm and make it smaller or slower. And then I could also like double that and make it faster. Maybe a heavy riff. This is something I thought of in my head, like a groovy middle section. This is really weird, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it in this video. We'll see where I get to, but I'm not even sure it's going to work. But there's there's something in my brain I'm thinking about that could be cool. Melodic variations on the existing melody. I actually have those in my head already. To quieter first verse, bring in the metric modulation in verse 2. Okay. I actually, in the last couple hours, just sitting thinking about it. Actually, I was taking a shower earlier, and I think I've decided I'm going to make this a vocal tune. And that just popped into my head. But once it did, I was like, okay, that gives me, it kind of made me excited about trying some stuff. It might be weird, and we'll see, but this main melody, this very simple melody, is actually quite singable. As I try to make a lot of my melodies quite singable if possible. But I think this is really singable, and especially the sort of variations I'm hearing in my head will be really cool. So what I'm going to do, let me play this piece one more time for those of you who've missed it. And then I'll talk about what I want to do with what already exists here. And then we'll talk about adding on to that a little bit. And then I'll try to add on to it. And then I'll get going. I'm kind of rambling now. Okay. So this was, what I have up here is just like the lesson I made on the metric modulation part. This is like over a year ago at this point. I'm going to make this smaller. There we go. So here's the piece.
Tempos.
So it's 15/16, grouped as 4/3/4/4. So that's the piece. I'm going to pin this in the comments so that you guys can listen to it. Hold on, come on. There it is. Paste pin message. Okay, so it's pinned in the comments now if you want to check out that little thing we just heard. So I'm thinking that part that's there right now, that's going to be a verse, is what I'm thinking in my head, especially if there's vocals. That's a nice, simple kind of verse melody. I'm going to change it a little bit and make it more interesting. Hold on, sorry. I got... okay, cool. Sorry, my wife was texting me. My kids get out of school here any minute, so I don't know. Yeah, so anyway. Lots going on today. Anyway, so I'm gonna treat this part, I think, as a verse. I think that'll work really well, especially if it's done with vocals. And then I'll write like a separate part for a chorus, kind of a deal. So what I want to do, let's maybe make this multi-track here. That way I can see all the instruments lined up. Is there too many? Are they all on separate pages? Kind of, yeah. That's okay. I guess I can hide a few of these if they all fit on one page. Okay, now it's all fitting on one. No, it's not. How is it not fitting on one page? There we go. what I'm going to do is leave some space before it. So what I'm hearing is the verse is really this opening part where the melody kind of kicks in. Actually, I don't want to do multi-track view. That's super annoying. Okay. So I want to all track copy this. Basically what I'm going to do is push everything else way off out of the way. And towards the back of this guitar profile, and then I can grab from those pieces and bring them over to the front part if I need to. So I'm just going to paste these 4 measures over, and then I'll leave like a ton of space. Obviously I did like a save as new file for this, so we have it. No, that's not what I did. Dang it. Okay. I like copied and pasted the other part. That's not what I meant to do. If you have questions, I'll try copy. There we go. As I go, let me know. I'll try to talk as I do this, but also I might have to focus on actually writing too. So all right, now I've left tons of space there. What I want to do really is just kind of focus on the melody. What I'm going to do is copy and paste this drum groove over. Actually, first what I want to do is change the 15s. Oh, I can't? Can I not group the 15, 16 how I want to? That's super annoying. I wish Guitar Pro would let me do that. It's fine. I can. That's just going to bother my brain. I can fix it later. Actually, I'm going to do it now partially because I'm a stickler for this kind of stuff. Because the rhythm is so important in this song, I kind of want to group it the way it's supposed to be. Are these measures exact replications of each other? I think so. Okay, so I can copy paste. Okay. And so I have an idea for the melody right now is incredibly simple. It's just this. So I want a variation the second time around. I kind of like that actually as the first time through, but I want a variation the second time around, especially if I do it with vocals. So I'm going to write that in real quick, and then we'll have kind of what would be, I guess, a verse, like a first verse. Yeah, let's leave that blank. I might not introduce this arpeggio part right away. There's the cool arpeggio thing that happens in piano first and then guitar later. That part. I might save that for later, actually. So like the first verse would be even more sparse. So let's mute the piano and synth. We'll just have like the chords and the melody here. I might actually make these chords a little more interesting too, but I'm going to start by putting the melody that I have sort of in my head. And this I'm really thinking of with vocals in mind. I gotta kind of follow the rhythm here. I believe it should be like a dotted quarter note. Okay, this should work well. Tie. And there we go. Oops. I guess I gotta unmute it so you can hear it. Okay. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that extra note for now. I was thinking, because I was kind of humming through this earlier, because if I want to do it with the vocals, that it made sense to have like, and actually this is a good range that it can go up an octave when it gets louder. What I'm gonna do is bring in like a Guitar Pro vocal track. This is gonna sound terrible probably, but it's gonna give the idea of, you know, what the vocals are actually gonna do when there's vocals in here, which I think is important. You know, if I was doing this in my DAW, I could have some pretty cool AI software that sounds awesome and somewhat realistic, and you can put words into. So I'm actually going to get rid of the guitar melody and see if the vocals, this is the right range. No, it's up an octave. So let's go down an octave. No, 1 octave down. 8 VB, there we go. Obviously, that's not the most inspiring thing to listen to, but it's going to give me an idea of what the vocals might actually do, which is cool. That's all I really want there. So I think that's a pretty nice little groove for this first, what's going to be like the first verse. Let's try actually bringing in this arpeggiated piano thing, see how that sounds. So I'm actually gonna, I've got an idea. Okay, let me copy paste all of this and insert it there. I'm gonna kind of do a small interlude and then amp it up a little bit into the second time. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna take like 2 measures of this cool pattern. So actually maybe what I'm gonna do is not do the arpeggiated part here, and then bring the arpeggiated part in as an interlude and then kick it up for like a second part of the first verse basically. So let's, just as something easy to do, I'll take the bass down an octave for that. And I'll probably amp up the drum groove a little bit. I probably actually have that already over here somewhere. Let me listen. actually, right there. So I'll try copy. Let me just do this instead, actually. Trying to use the stuff I already have there. Reminds me of a double harmonic feel. I'm not sure what that means, but... Oh, like maybe a double harmonic scale. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. I'm gonna like copy paste the vocal melody over for now. I might up it an octave in a second. But now we have this sort of heavier groove with the I actually don't think that I was palm muting the low notes, so let's get rid of that. I don't want the groove to get quite this open hi-hat yet. I might go like one less. The Guitar Pro, there's different levels of open hi-hat you can do, and I would do this in a DAW too with my software. I don't know if I want to bring in the heavy distortion, like low distortion yet, but let's see how this. Okay. So for this interlude part, I do think I want to have the guitar. And then I'm thinking there might be like some little fill. Just jot something in there. Maybe we'll do like a 16th note hi-hat thing. Yeah. I think that's right. Okay. I hate the way that it's beaming everything here, but that's just what I'm going to have to deal with. So let's see, get into this. Yeah, that's cool. It definitely needs to fill like out of it. So let's get the dynamics up for that fill. I'm just going to do like the same fill again. I'll worry about the specifics of that kind of stuff later. I'm trying to just jot down ideas. So let's see. Okay, that's sounding pretty cool up to this point, as like a first verse, right? You kind of, I don't know, I have some ideas of what's going to happen before this. For now, I'm just going to put some empty space, but I kind of like the feel of what's happening here. I wonder if I need something else in this first part. I feel like that arpeggio part kind of keeps it like the energy up, right? For this kind of first part, but right, I think I don't know, I think it works okay actually, especially if I have something like really high energy coming before. So let's see what I can do with the chords here to make them a little more interesting. So I have this other chord progression that I was thinking of, and actually I put it on here. Where is it? Here at the beginning. It's like A minor, A minor 9, A flat, add 9. That kind of a thing. I think that sounds pretty cool. I might actually change the order of those, see if that works. Because what are the voicings on the piano right now? On the electric piano. That's cool. Oh, it's the same chord the whole time. That's fine. So let's see. All right. So let's try this. Can I move just that note down? Actually, no, I need a whole new chord there, don't I? So the melody goes to D, so maybe I need to have a D instead of an E. Oh, that's cool. These are hard to play on guitar, but that sounds cool. Yeah, maybe change that chord at the last second. Maybe this one could change later too. Nah, I think that needs to change sooner. I'm not trying to like overcomplicate things, but I think it needs a little more movement. This chord progression as it is, to me, is like maybe a little cliche sounding. So I'm trying to experiment. And then so here, what is it? Am I just doing F, B flat, D, G? Okay. And then, do I need to do some bass? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's cool. Ooh, I wonder, now that I'm hearing that, I feel like it wants to go somewhere else next. The bass part. Because we got... Oh, that's really cool. Let me try that. So I'm going to keep the same chords on top, but I'm going to change the bass notes to kind of work up a little bit. Actually, let me make sure I have the right chords on top. kind of worked. Okay. Ah, man, it's close. It's not quite there, but I really like the idea. It feels like it has more momentum to the progression now instead of being basically what it was before, which is just like a vamp back and forth between two chords, right? So I want it to feel like it has some more movement to it. Actually, maybe I'll flip these two. I had this idea of like rising bass notes here, but I don't think I like the way the D sounds here. So it might actually be better to do the reverse. I'll do F and then D. And then the A flat. And actually maybe let's take the A flat down an octave. And then I think the second time, to lead back to the beginning chord progression better, that I won't do this extra chord I've added in, or maybe I'll do a different chord. So like that's kind of cool. Just do like a C minor. Yeah, there it is. So I'm playing. I'm just gonna keep A flat on the bottom the last time. And I'll just change the top notes. What is that? F and B flat. Okay. That should get us into. Let's see how this second bass part sounds. Octave up. And then I think actually, does this need to go up dynamically? I still am not sold on those bass notes. It's close. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. F. I think the problem actually is probably the upper voicings, not the bass note. So I'm trying to keep the same bass note. So what I probably should do is like a I changed the second one too. So all I'm gonna do, I'll take this G down to F in this one. And I'm just writing guitar part right now because that's what I already started this piece on, but these are the same sort of concepts I do in a DAW. In fact, some ways this kind of thing is faster if I can drag MIDI around, but I think it's cool as is. So let's hear how that chord sounds. Yeah, that's better. Actually, maybe this might sound cooler if it was like an inversion. Boom, boom, dun, 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 dun. Ah, there we go. Something like that. Okay, so let's listen to the whole verse now. Oh, okay. This might require some work for me to do, but I have another idea now. The idea is to keep these chord changes for the second time through the chorus. So it is more of the kind of vamp back and forth in the slower one, and then the actual moving chords in the second part. How am I going to do that? Okay. I just got to change the bass notes. I might have to actually change the arpeggio part, which that would be kind of annoying, but I'll do it if I have to. So what did I do here? D. And I think it was on the A flat again. Okay. Let's put the chords over. Oh, that's the play. That sounds really cool. I think, especially if I vamp on the first one, then you get movement in the second one, and that's I actually really like that a lot. But now I got to figure out how I'm gonna pull that off. Okay, so I need the bass note to go down there. Okay, so I think the bass is right now. So actually I'm going to take... Whoa, what the heck's going on? No, that's not what I did. This back to what it was before. What did I do? So now I'm taking the first part back to what it was originally. It shouldn't be too hard to change, actually. I'll just put these chords back where they were. It was basically the same chord shape the whole time, which is part of what I liked about this chord progression originally. Was basically just had the same chord shape that would... I might keep that last chord. So let's see. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to get a chord in there. So I'm keeping the original idea of just those two chords back and forth. There's some massaging I might still need to do on parts, but now we're getting this kind of different chord progression happening, which is great. I absolutely love that. Very interesting sound. I'm trying to decide. I think this makes sense as like this whole thing I'm going to treat as the first verse, quote unquote. We have like singing, tiny little interlude, a little bit louder in the first half of this verse, and then I'm going to transition into something else. So let me make sure I have these arpeggios where they need to be first, and then I'll see about changing that. So where are the chords on top? I might not need to do too much to these. So I'm just going to actually solo the guitar and the chords. That's the one I really need to change. So can I just do the shape? okay. Oh no, it's more notes than that. Can I do that? Okay. So I'm basically just going to take the pattern that's here already and apply it to the chords. Do I need to change this one? Ooh, I wonder if I could do like F there instead. Like. Yeah, I think that's cool. Ah, yeah, and now I've got to go down to F. I'm just going to transfer this part over to like an F major 7 chord basically. So when you change something like a chord, for example, like reharmonize something like this, all of a sudden I've introduced all kinds of different stuff. I have to keep going back and changing what I did previously. So okay, I think it's close. I might actually do like more of a, yeah, that's cool. More of a D minor sort of thing. Okay, let's listen to this whole thing. Okay, that's cool. It's very close anyway. Good enough for now. Let's put that into the acoustic piano. Now the piano's an octave up, and of course doesn't have any of the whatever. There's pick strokes and stuff on there, but who cares? So let's listen to everything now. Okay, now, actually, while I'm thinking about it, I have an idea for the second verse, and I marked this down. So second verse, to bring in the metric modulation. So in the original little piece, it like goes to the heavy guitars already by this point. Obviously, writing a full song, I don't want to do that. I'm going to have like some crazy heavy stuff at the beginning to kind of like ramp into it. But for the second verse, I think I would want to bring in some of the heavy guitars and stuff like that. So I'm going to copy and paste this new melody idea. Actually, hold on. Let me bring in, where does the heavy guitar start? There's the metric modulation. Actually, let's take this whole part with the metric modulation. Try to copy. I'm gonna like kind of put this somewhere in the middle as a second verse. But we're going to not. Yeah. I guess I will have the metric modulation, but not quite yet. So like 8 measures. Actually, no, let's take. I have an idea in my head. It's just going to take me a second. That should work. Yeah. Okay. So let's put this into the piano. Up an octave. And let me just copy these kind of heavy drums over. I should label these sections too. So like something I recommend doing. Just in general, I got to keep track of what I'm doing. Verse 1, verse 2. So let's get the bass. Ooh, it's going to have to change with the chords, but that's fine. I have to remember what all those chords were. I'm going to go lower here, obviously. Lower in pitch. If people have questions, let me know. I'm just kind of going without thinking about it too much. So this is F. I'm sorry, then D. And then it was back to A flat. Now I think what I'd want to, let me put the piano or the chords in where those, here's those chords that change. Do those happen in any other instruments in verse 2? No. Let's get rid of the melody. I am going to take the melody I have in verse 2 and up it an octave. So we'll just get rid of the 8 VB. And we'll go octave up. I kind of know what this is going to sound like already. I just have to get it in. All right, so now I got to figure out rhythm guitar wise what I want to do tuning wise. So in the original, I wanted to have a low A flat because that chord happened a lot in this song, but I tuned to drop A. Right? So having a low A flat wasn't possible. So I just detuned my A string down to A flat or G sharp. If I'm writing a full song, though, it's going to be weird to make chords and do other things with that tuning. So I've got to decide what I want to do. I think what I'm going to do, and it's going to sound weird on this guitar, but I might have to get some thicker strings if I record this, but I'm going to take the low string down to F sharp. Reason being is that I can make an octave. With what would be a normal power chord shape. And so that'll give me, and then I can do some like lower stuff too, which might be fun. I could just do this on a 7 string or an 8 string too. Should I just do that? Should I just do an 8 string? Or might it be cool to have like a 7 string with a weird tuning? I'm just going to go with the 7 string with the weird tuning for now. Maybe I'll change my mind later. We'll see. So it has this kind of like muted, groovy thing. It's just the same rhythm over and over again. I just have to put it with the right chord. So it'd be, these would be a half step down, This would be 2 half steps down. And this is go with the 7th string. There you go. Yeah, it's easier to play, especially if I want to write something faster. I think the 7th string will work better. My strings are old, doesn't like tuning this low. So I gotta do F and then D. So where would F be in this tuning? 11. So this is the kind of stuff I hate doing. And then D would be, that's A. So this is F. D would be the 8th fret. No. There we go. And then this I can keep the same because that was A flat before. Okay, so there I believe it's all the right chords. Let's copy that to the other guitar and let's see how this sounds. Why does that? Oh, the metric modulation didn't have the tempo change. Why did that sound awesome? I might actually have to use that later in the song. Let me make a note of that. I'm gonna modulate it up for now, to what it was, but that sounded freaking cool. It sounded like it modulated, but like, I don't know, got slower maybe? No, it wasn't slower. It just the subdivisions got slower. Let me make a note. Metric mod. See, happy accidents sometimes. Metric modulation at same tempo. Let's see, I'm gonna make better notes. From 15 to 19 at same tempo. That sounded sweet. I actually think I will use that later. For now, I'll do like the. I'm gonna have to adjust the chords on this part too, aren't I? At some point, yeah. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'm gonna see if I can write a chorus. That's actually maybe my main goal today. I haven't got as much done as I thought I wanted to, but everything here is sounding pretty cool. Was there the guitar melody? Because I need to get rid of that. Yeah. There is this like counter melody I did, which is pretty cool. I might actually. Keep that in, or add it in the second half of the first verse too. Let's try that. Where would that be? Here. One other thing I need to do in the second verse, I think because it's ramped up so much in energy, is I actually think I need to take this, maybe not all of it, but a lot of this arpeggio part up an octave, to get it out of the way. I did actually do that in the original. No, not that far. I did actually do it in the original. I moved it up an octave and just changed the fingering. So it should work just fine. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, I think that's cool. Might be a little loud, but that's something I can change really easily here. I'm wondering how I'm going to get into the second verse. I actually have an idea. This is something I wanted to try at some point anyway, so might as well give it a shot now. Basically taking this 4-3-4-4 rhythm, but I'm gonna treat the fours, instead of doing 4 16th notes, I'll just do 16th note triplets. So like, okay, I got it. I got the idea. I might actually make these notes like move around. I need some distortion if I'm going to write riffs. Let's see, triplets. Maybe I'll keep the first one open and then palm mute the rest. So we got 6, and then I'll do like the group of. Where's my octave? Okay. Let me see. I might have to move these. Let me just get like a bass rhythm down, and then I might move the notes around a bit. And then I think actually, strangely enough, I want harmonics. So like, I need to get drums, otherwise it's gonna sound weird. I'm air drumming. Okay, that's what I want. That's what I want. It's got to be metal at some point. I can't just do like straight like this. The weird fusion stuff is sweet. I love how this sounds overall, but I think this would be a cool like. And so what I'm envisioning is a chorus between this first verse I have here. That's why I've left some space, and then into the second verse. So I'm going to try to write that chorus, or at least part of it here. But this is kind of would be going into the second verse. Just get like some snare hits in there. Oh, that's actually really cool. I need to figure out some secondary notes. I'll have the guitar harmonize, but Yeah, there it is. There it is. Let's see if I can figure out some notes to make this sound cooler. That's cool. How am I going to do that for three notes? Oh, that was... There it is. That sounds actually sweet. This tuning is weird, but it's providing me some interesting... I'm purposely putting this open string in here so that I can play 3 notes and then start on a downstroke again. So I'm going to do this, or what did I do? There it is. Obviously not palm muted. So this is a fun thing about writing. Is I had no idea I was going to write like this particular part at all until just a second ago, and the inspiration hit. I'm gonna have to bass here too in a second. What am I gonna do with the bass? Do I keep the bass in A, low tuned A, or do I have to like lower that to an F sharp too? I didn't think about that. Yeah, that sounds sick. We're getting some metal in there now. I'm still like following that rhythm kind of. I'm going to do this triplet idea, and in fact, I might actually introduce some of these like 16th-note triplets at the beginning of the song. So I think this is going to connect just fine once I kind of get into it. Let's like put in a bass part. I might just have the bass stay on the root note. So like not do like the arpeggio bit. I will have the bass do the harmonics though. I think that's important. That'll sound sweet. Harmonics on bass sound awesome. So let's just keep the bass on the root note here, and then harmonics 5 and 5. I actually might make the harmony way darker on this metric modulation part, and since I'm doing vocals now, I might do like harsh vocals. I was thinking about that. I think that might be really cool. I'm going to do that not today because I don't have enough time. Anyway, sweet. So there's the first. Okay, I need to figure out the chorus. So here's my idea for the chorus, and this is what I was thinking of in my head originally, and I wrote this down. So I have the main rhythm is this 4-3-4-4 16th note, so 15-16, and I added on to that for this weird metric modulation you just heard, so it's 5-4-5-5. But I thought it might be cool to subtract and do 3-2-3-3. So I'm basically going to modulate to like a slower tempo, and do that. So let me figure that out exactly. I'm gonna just put it right after the verse here and see if I can like just massage the transition into actually working, but we'll see. So that would have to be, I guess, is it 11-16 or 11-8? I'm gonna do 11-8 because I think that'll make the modulation easier in Guitar Pro. So that would be 3 2 3 3. That I can actually group properly, which is nice. I got to put this back in 15/16. It's gonna mess up all my future time signatures. No, good. So this is actually going to be, I guess, technically then dotted quarter note equals 100 instead of quarter note equals 100. So I feel like there's way too many ads on my, maybe I need to change the settings for that. As I live stream more, I'll get used to doing that. So dotted quarter note equals 150. So actually, let me add in one measure just to kind of hear the transition. I'm going to add one measure. I want to write a chorus, so I want it to be something that makes sense musically. I may have to do like a measure of transition or something to get it to work. This is the fun math stuff. This is also stuff that would probably be easier in the DAW than just in Guitar Pro, but I'm fast at this, so I'm going to keep the drums because I think that'll make the transition easy. Oh, this has to be in 15/16 too. Oh, well, there's my 15/16 subdivisions. Maybe that's a new Guitar Pro update that didn't exist when I wrote this. Oh, can I get the correct subdivisions? That would make me so happy. Oh, that looks so much better. Oh my god. Okay, I have to go back and fix that here. This matters to me so much. Okay, 15/16. That must be a Guitar Pro update that happened between the time I wrote this. Oh man, that's grouping everything properly. That makes me so happy. This has got to go back to the original tempo. No, not eighth note, quarter note. Okay, so now let's take a look at the drums. Kind of my idea is basically when I'm modulating down one beat, right now one beat has 4/16 notes in it, but I'm going to modulate down to one beat has 3 notes in it, so like triplets. So I can basically use, I'm going to do, just as to see how it sounds, I'm going to basically just do like 2 beats of triplets. And then into a groove. I'm just going to put in like a generic, it's going to be like almost a generic kind of 12/8 groove, except for I'm cutting off one note in the second beat, kind of like what I was doing originally with the 4/4. Nope, stop. I don't know how this is gonna work. So let's see. Maybe I need actually like just one beat of triplets. Obviously I won't do like straight kick drums, like I'll have more of an actual groove. So maybe I'll introduce that a little bit. Let's see. I might need a whole measure of transition to smooth that out a little bit. Okay. Add another thought for the chorus. I'm still going to do this metric modulation, but I'm not going to introduce the 11 rhythm until later. So we're going to have a 4-bar phrase, And the first two bars are going to be actually just straight up like 12/8. So like normal compound meter sort of stuff. Like this. And then the last two measures of the chorus phrase will be that 11/8 rhythm. So I'm still going to like tie it in with the other one, but maybe make the beginning of the chorus a little more straightforward by having it as just a normal like. And then I think I need like more like hi-hats. I have to figure out an actual groove. Maybe I'll base it off the groove that happens earlier, but I think if I can figure out this transition to work, it will make for a chorus that sounds interesting. I need like more groovy. It almost feels too slow, but it like the metric modulation's cool. What if I keep the triplets the same speed as the 16th notes from earlier? If that would sound cool. I figured out how I'm gonna do that. So basically, like, is that gonna sound too fast? Let's see. The original is 100. As 16th notes. So it probably have to go 200. Okay, let's see. Okay, if I do that, I think that actually might work. I've got to like half time it though, because that sounds jank. At like double time. Oh, what if it was more like a I'm getting somewhere now, I think. Oh, here's what I need to do. Okay. This is weird. I might be getting like too weird here. I should probably just write a chorus in 4/4 or something, but where's the fun in that? I'll do like I'll kind of hint at both these rhythms here, so we'll have like 2 against 3 kind of between hi-hat and ride cymbal, so like I think this will make this odd time signature one feel cooler. there's an idea. So essentially what I'm doing is like treating 3 notes, 3/16 notes as the beat now. Obviously I've like doubled the tempo just because that's how I ended up writing it. But I wonder if I should just, because here's some math for you. This is where my nerd prog brain comes in. Our original time signature of 15, we can actually divide that by 3 5 times. So we can get like, so let's see. Oh man, how am I gonna? I'm gonna try to make this transition feel somewhat natural. So, I'm just gonna do straight 16th notes. All right, so let's do like a group of. Let's do our group of 4 and then 2. Then we'll do 4 and then 2 instead, and then we'll basically do. Like 3 groups of 3. So like, no, don't put it there. And then this is the real fun stuff of writing music, right? Kind of works. I need to make this like more groovy, probably less kick drums, but yeah, something like that sounds better. So I'm going to copy and paste all this. Oh, that'll work perfectly. Okay, here's my transition. I'm just doing stuff rhythmically now, obviously. Here's my transition back to the original. Tempo. And actually, should I do triplets? Probably. Let's see. Actually, okay. So I'm just going to mash these 2 parts together. Actually, I think that'll work. I gotta. I really need chords, at least, on this part. I'm going to see if I can put some chords in for what I'm going to tentatively title the chorus. I have like an idea for melody, actually, but I was planning on doing it at this lower tempo, so I don't know how well it's going to work, but I'll see what I can do with that. Okay, I need chords. I had actually a chorus chord progression scribbled down. Let's see what I got. Oh, can I do this? D minor 11. Okay. Okay, let me figure out the rhythm. Da, 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 da. So like off, kind of off beats push. Yeah, this is gonna help to make it groovier, I think. Okay, that's actually already sounds way cooler. I gotta put the rhythm guitars in here. I'll have to figure out the transition measure later, but so I'm basically gonna go between like higher chords and these palm mutes sort of thing. And then I'm gonna kind of steal from the arpeggio part earlier, so like. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Now we're getting somewhere. It's funny, like when I just put the groove in, I'm still not sure exactly how well this works, but it felt like it didn't work very well at all. Now that I kind of have some chords in there, it feels a little more like it makes sense. So then let's adjust. I'm going to do like a minor major 7. Okay, let's copy this to this. Let's copy again. And then the second time, I'm going to try to lead us into this next part. Oh, I'm going to have to do more notes. Let's see. I think I got it. So 5. Okay, let's try that. What was I doing? It's kind of a weird shape. Once again, this tuning is providing me with some interesting shapes, which I actually like. Okay, I'm going to copy this to the other guitar. Okay, here's what I'm going to do actually. I feel like it needs that other measure of 11 still. So, here's my full chorus progression. I think it's cool. I might actually add one more measure, surprisingly enough. Like going back to the A, it feels like maybe that was a little rushed. Definitely is getting the point across though. So let's put in, just because I want some more. And this might be like 2. The periphery tuning is the low string would be an octave below the next string. So if I was doing it on a 7, I would have to tune this down to E, so it's an octave below the other E, which my guitar definitely won't do that unless I restrung it with some heavier strings. But I think Periphery does it on a 6-string usually, so it's like G, G, C, F, A, D. So it's like drop C basically, but you take the D, C string, like the low string, all the way down to G. So it's an octave different than the next string. What am I doing here? I need to finish this up because I got other stuff I got to do. But I gotta at least put the chords in here. This is important to me. I'm gonna do like a pad. And do like that. I'm just gonna take the upper voicings of these chords I was playing. So like F. I mean, already that sounds way better. And then I guess this same thing is like same chord has step down. So like E flat, F, B flat, D, G. Oh no, it's in the wrong spot. And then I'll actually take this chord I used at the very beginning of the song, which is like. Except for this one's got to fit the rhythm of the song, so of the time signatures. It's like that. And then I'm going to turn it into the. So G. There it is. And then let's copy and paste all this. I'll put this in. I'll put this in the like piano too. The electric piano. I just added this synth pad in. Where's the electric piano? There it is. No, one more. Actually, that sounds pretty cool. I think what I actually need to do, though, I need that extra measure in there. I need to add this in, and then I need to be done. But I'm going to continue this. I'll probably just keep working on this for the next few weeks on live streams and, you know, kind of slowly chip away at it because I really like it, what's happening all of a sudden. So let's just adjust this to fit A. So I'm basically going to, like, modulate this back up to A. Nope. And then transition it over. What are the chords? I think that should work drum-wise for now. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, I think overall it sounds cool. There's definitely like, you know, maybe some weird stuff here and there. I might have these chords kind of. Yeah, maybe I'll invert this last one to be like higher chords. So like, what was that? D, D, G, A, D. Nope. Yeah, there we go. That's cool. I have an idea for a vocal melody. I'm not going to have time to put it in here, but I'll do that next time. And actually, maybe I'll listen to this chorus part a few times. I might like export it to a MIDI or something, or export it to audio and just listen to it and like try to hum some melodies over it. Let's listen now. Kind of works. I once again might need to do a few things to change it. Now I'm wondering. I don't have a way to get into this chorus is the problem, but. Actually, I wonder if I just... Now that's what I should do. Instead of like doing... I should just instantly change to the old rhythm in this last measure. So like, instead of trying to like go one to the next, I should just go right back to 15, 16. So it's like, what's the, where is it? I'm just going to copy it from the other guitar. I think this is actually going to work a lot better. Wow, okay. It's on a different tuning, so it's not giving me good fingerings, but I'm gonna shift down. There we go. Good enough for listening to it. Drums. Let's see how this sounds. Okay, but I need to like match the drum groove more. Yeah, I think that works better. Oh, and actually something cool happened there. Once again, it's a happy accident. This high chord like held over, but it sounded awesome, like as a way to transition from one to the next. So do that. So we'll do fit the time signature, and then actually just hold one measure into the next part, like so. So let's see. Actually, could even hold it longer. So. Okay, yeah, that's a cool transition out. I still haven't figured the transition into it, but Very cool. I think that's where I'm going to end for now. So I basically have, I need to write a chorus melody, but I have verse 1, chorus, verse 2. I didn't get as much done today as I wanted to, but that's kind of the nature of writing, is I got stuck doing some other stuffs and trying to figure out exactly what to do on a chorus. But I think it's in a decent spot for now. So I might just listen to everything I have so far and call it good. So I have kind of labeled this stuff too. Ah! Okay. My computer was glitching out on me again there. But I think that's cool. Actually, listening to it now, I feel like I might actually even be able to like go straight into the chorus without like an extra measure there, which, I mean, if I can do that, I think that's preferable because it's going to flow more seamlessly. I'm going to leave it there for now, that extra measure, and see what happens. I think if I did something at the end of the previous measure, it might like get into the chorus just fine. So cool. That's where I'm going to end the stream for now. I got to get ready for my gig tonight. But yeah, I think this is in a good place. It's turning out pretty cool, I think, overall. Should be a cool song. I have a lot of other ideas in my head that once I kind of have these main core parts down, and able to like try to actually throw in some of those other ideas I had into this. So I'm gonna do that next week. I'll see everyone same time next week, I believe. I might actually do an hour earlier depending on my schedule, but I'll see everyone on next week's live stream. Thanks for hanging out. I kind of just wrote and you guys just watched me, it looks like, which is fine with me. It's giving me an excuse to like, or forcing myself to write, basically. It's kind of what I'm doing here. So if people want to follow along, that's cool. If not, you know, they can hear the full piece later, hopefully. All right, everyone have a good Friday evening, and